What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, Mikey, Michael, whatever you want to call me. Um, I wanted to put out a video of my prediction of the Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois fight that is going to happen tomorrow. I believe it's going to happen around 3 o'clock Pacific time. I'm not completely sure. I got to double check that. This is a very big British fight. I've been waiting for it for quite some time, and I am very excited to see the outcome. Now, there's a lot at stake for this fight. I believe this fight is going to drastically hurt one man and highly elevate the other. This is a very big fight. There's a lot on the line. There's the IBF title on the line, but for me personally, as the viewer, that doesn't mean a whole lot to me. The title, the belt's the belt, but the bigger picture here is the winner of this fight is, according to plans, going to fight the winner of the Fury Usyk rematch. And that's the big picture here, folks. This is what I have been thinking about. This is what I think about what's on the line. I don't think of this fight as this is an IBF title fight or a world title fight, whatever you want to say. This is the chance to beat the man. Usyk or Fury, one of those two of very arguably. I got to say you got to pick one or the other, but two of the best heavyweights of this generation. Usyk coming on a little bit later, but still, this is a very big fight. The Wembley Stadium is sold out to hell. Both of these guys deserve to be here, with no doubt in my mind. They both worked very hard, and this should be a very interesting fight. Now, to just kind of cut to the chase here, first, I would like to say I want to go over a couple things. First, I would like to state my prediction. Now, because I have to say a name, I have to pick somebody because you could always be wrong, but I have to pick somebody. I am going to say Anthony Joshua, round 7 or 8 TKO or a knockout, whatever stoppage, round 7 or 8. Now, why? So first, let me. I should be more organized with these sorts of things. I'm not, but I have some tabs open here. So, first, real quick, what I kind of did this for the Fury Usyk fight too when I was making my prediction for that. Um, I want to go over the quality of recent opposition and overall quality of opponents in general, the history with that, and how they did against those opponents. Now, let's start with Dubois. Um, so Dubois' professional record is 21-2. Just some notable names he's beaten recently. He stopped Gerald Miller, who was previously undefeated. Granted, Gerald Miller hadn't really been tested all too much leading up to that fight, but he was a legitimate contender. He was a hard hitting, a big dude, and there was something to overcome in that fight, and Dubois got him. Philip Higovic, who was undefeated, good boxer, good heavyweight, top contender. Um, he was stopped by Dubois in the last fight, and Dubois' latest fight. So those are two undefeated, respectable names that Dubois stopped. Now, prior to that was a pretty one-sided loss to Usyk. He was outboxed pretty soundly, pretty efficiently. I think Usyk outlanded him every round. There was the controversial shot, but I am one of those people in the boxing community that think the shot was low. So I don't really factor that in too much. We've seen Usyk take some bigger shots. He was fine. I think the low ruling was legitimate, so we don't need to get into that. But so we're looking at a fairly one-sided. Here's the thing: we're looking at a pretty one-sided loss to Usyk here, and that's what's really at stake for this fight. Um, Prior to that, he had the loss to Joe Joyce. I've never watched that fight. Some people say it was fluky. I can't speak on it, but what I can say is the loss was a couple years ago now. He's grown from it. He's learned from it. He's not the same fighter. I think I could say that with confidence. Now, let's look at Anthony Joshua's. I have the records pulled up here. So, he is currently on a 4-win streak following his double Lility, his his two fight saga with Usyk. Um, Now let's start with the performance against Usyk. Now this isn't always wise to do in the fight game to compare, how people do against one another or who's done what against which opponent. I know that's not wise, but I just think it's relevant to bring up. Um, so we're looking at two decision losses to Usyk. Second was a split decision. It really should have been a unanimous decision, but we're looking at two decision losses to Usyk. Fairly competitive. Usyk, the decisive winner. We could say that. Did Usyk hurt Joshua in the first fight? I think he hurt him at the end. Second fight, I don't think he hurt him. But we're looking at two fighters who have been beat, but we're also looking at two fighters who have learned and became a hell of a lot better from their losses. So let's kind of look at Joshua's recent opponents. We got Jeremy Franklin, who um, I don't know a whole lot about him, but to my understanding, he was a fair opponent for someone coming off two losses. Robert Helenius, um, and he's an opponent that is beatable when you have power and when he's not the he's beatable. He's a pretty beatable boxer, and he was kind of at the tail end of his career. I'm not saying he hasn't had success before, but Hellenius was at a stage where he was very beatable and he was at the tail end of things. So Otto Wallen. Now this is where opposition started picking up. Otto Wallen, who he was a good boxer, gave Fury a competitive fight. Um, Lost decisively, but it was fairly competitive. Dominant, and by the way, these performances have been dominant victories on behalf of Joshua. And then, of course, this latest fight versus Nagano. Nagano, it's pretty hard to really assess Nagano in my eyes because I think you can make a legit argument that the performance against Fury was fairly fluky. Fury definitely underestimated him. He didn't know what he was getting into. Nagano was catching with some good shots. Would the rematch look that way? I don't think it would. And Joshua knocked him out in the second round. It was a big time KO. So Joshua has some momentum too. They both have some good momentum going into this fight. Um, Now let's kind of talk about the boxing. Um, so I am saying Joshua within 7 or 8 rounds. Now I think Dubois is gonna give him more trouble than people think. Actually, I want to start with saying that I think he's gonna give him more trouble than people think. Um, Dubois, he knows how to get inside. He's a good boxer. I don't. He's not as skilled as a boxer as Joshua, and that's why I think Joshua is gonna get to him. He's gonna stop him in 7 or 8 rounds. But I think Dubois is gonna give him some early trouble, and he's gonna test Joshua's newly found skill and rhythm that he's obtained with his new trainer. And I think Joshua is gonna he's gonna know what to do. He's gonna have a game plan. He's gonna de-weaponize Dubois a little bit, and he's gonna get to him about 7 or 8 rounds. He's gonna hurt him maybe around 5 or 6. He might drop him. I don't know exactly how that's gonna play out in terms of how he's gonna exactly get to him. But I think Dubois might have some early success. But I think Joshua's gonna get into a rhythm. He's gonna hurt him. And I think it's gonna take about 7 or 8 rounds. Um, really don't actually have too much to say. Really, I think it's gonna be. I sure in hell don't think it's gonna go the distance. Usually fights like this don't. Whenever you put two hard hitters against each other, usually someone goes down. Whoever gets cracked clean usually goes down first. That's usually how that works, unless one has a chin and one doesn't. I think Joshua has a better chin than Dubois does. Um, I think Daniel Dubois is gonna. I really do think he's gonna be a fair test for AJ. Dubois is better than Joshua's last four opponents for sure. So I think it's gonna take a little bit longer to get to him. Um, as far as Dubois' performance, he's not as skilled as a boxer as Anthony Joshua. I could say that with certainty. Um, but he has a puncher's chance, and I think he's gonna crack him pretty good a few times before Joshua finds him out and takes him out. That's it really. I look forward to it. It's gonna be a good fight. Um, that's really it. Let me look up exactly what time it is tomorrow. Joshua versus Dubois time. Yep, 3 p.m. Wow, it's right on the money. Anyway, so we'll see how well this ages. I'm saying round 7, round 8. I gotta get better at these prediction videos, but round 7 or 8, Anthony Joshua. I'll say TKO. All right, this has been Mikey. I'll see you guys on the other side.